When you're traveling with gear, there's always a little bit of a puzzle in striking the right balance between the things that you need to take versus the things that you want to take. What projects are actually on deck and how much room do you actually have? Because let's face it, luggage space is kind of a premium when you're traveling. But occasionally we have those trips where we don't really need to pack very lightly. This actually happened relatively recently. We went to Las Vegas to visit some friends to catch up, hang out, but also get creative, work on some projects, and collaborate. And since this type of occasion rarely ever happens for us, I just thought I better bring everything. So a couple of weeks ago, I made a video called What's in My Camera Bag Minimalist Travel Edition, so it's only appropriate that this time I make a video called What's in My Camera Bag Maximalist Travel Edition. So I think it's appropriate to start with the backpack first because I think most people will be interested in this, but also there's just less stuff in here, so it's easier to get through this first. Now the backpack that I'm running is the Boundary Supply Errant Pro. Now I'm not going to go into big detail about this backpack in this video just because there's a lot to talk about, but what I will say is that this could fit a lot and it's very, very comfortable for me. Now the premise with this backpack is that there are a lot of things that I like and there are a lot of things that could be improved about it. And I think you'll pick up on that as I talk about this. So what I do like about this, I think it looks great. There's a lot of straps, a lot of ways to adjust. You have your water bottle pouch here, side access right here to grab your camera and whatever. And check out these clips, magnetic. So it just kind of snaps back on and it's very easy to use. It's also pretty secure too. TSA wanted to see what was in my backpack and the TSA guy had a really hard time trying to figure out how to open this thing. It was kind of hilarious. And through the top, every bag, in my opinion, should have a good top access. Also, the best tape ever, I never travel without gaff tape. All right, so let's get inside of the bag here. So, big back shell access, top access. I really think that all camera bags need a rear access, side access, and top access, but that's just my preference. First things first, the computer that I'm running is the M1 Max MacBook Pro. Seriously, no complaints about this. The M1 Max chip is so good. I really have zero desire to upgrade. Now, the way that the inside of my bag is organized is a little bit weird, and this is kind of where, you know, the different accessories that are available for this backpack start to come to light, or the lack thereof. The camera cube that I'm using is not secured inside because it's actually not a Boundary Supply camera cube. It's the Wandered camera cube from my Provoke 21. Part of the reason for that, I'll just say this very briefly. In order to turn the Errant Pro into a true camera backpack, you need to buy this massive insert, which is also another backpack that goes into the Errant Pro itself. So it's basically a backpack inside of a backpack. And for me, that's just a massive waste of space. It makes things really heavy and it's really expensive. Why do you need to buy an entire another bag to make this bag functional? So as you can see, this is how I have my bag organized. I have my camera cube and then this Boundary Supply shelf thing that you could just kind of Velcro to the front of the bag. And that's where a lot of my other tech is sitting. But you can see this part is empty because the camera that's supposed to be in here is actually this camera. It is the Fujifilm X-T4 with the 16-55 f2.8. Great combo. The travel mic that I usually run is the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus. It's sitting right up here. Also inside the camera compartment of this bag, my filters and extra memory cards. I also travel around with my 10-24 f4 wide angle lens. Great lens, just a little slow. And then in the top portion of the bag, I have my Peak Design tech pouch. This thing is filled to the brim. We'll get into that in a second. My Kindle, because I want it to be a little bit less iPad kid for this trip. My analog notebooks here. It's so weird that we call this stuff analog. It's just a notebook. I use these to write down ideas when I don't really want to be facing a phone screen. In the front, a couple of pens, and this thing. This is actually pretty cool. It is called a Metasil. It's basically an infinite pencil. never has to be sharpened. The tip does need to be replaced after like something like 30 kilometers of writing or something like that. So it's great. The idea is much cooler than the actual execution. It actually writes really, really lightly, so there are some problems with the actual usage. Oh look, my camera thought there was a face right here, so if I'm going in and out of focus, it's because Fujifilm doesn't know how to do face autofocus. The IEMs that I'm running right now, these are the Solnotes Diokos, planar IEMs. I like them. They're very much of a contentious set of IEMs out there. You either love them or you absolutely hate them. I'll be doing a video on these at some point. In order to save at least a little bit of space, I usually travel with my massive Sony WH-1000 XM4s. I think that's what they're called. The names are so terrible these days. But because I wanted to save a little bit of space, I am traveling with these. These are Audio-Technica in-ear noise canceling headphones. These are the Audio-Technica ATH CKS 50TW. Seriously, who comes up with these names? They're all so terrible. So, inside of this tech pouch, I'll just run through this real quick. Massive Anker battery bank, a 3-in-1 Anker charger. You could do laptop, another USB-C, and a regular USB-A. 2 1TB hard drives. These are the Samsung T5 and T7. Some USB-C cables, a laptop cable, iPhone cable, and some extra batteries for the X-T4. And I guess I just threw these in before we headed out the door. These are the Truthier Hexas. I think these are really incredible IEMs for the price that you could get them for. Again, another video about those coming at some point. All right, so that's everything that's in my backpack. How about we get to the bigger case here? All right, so this thing right here, this is the Nanuk 935. If you need a big rolly case for all of your gear, this thing is incredible. It's actually one of my favorite things in my studio. Weird thing to say about a box, but it's true. All right, opening this thing up here. And that's what it looks like on the inside here. So in the top area right here, I have a bunch of cables, a HDMI cable, a DTAP cable for some power, a level. These things are always handy to have. A really, really long USB-C cable for my light, and perfect fit, this thing also holds my external display. And for everything else, this is how I have everything organized right here. I'm just gonna wedge this up so you could at least sort of see what's inside here. Now, in order for what's in here to make sense, I'm just going to start assembling what's in here as I go along. Essentially, everything that I need to shoot video is in here. If I have this box and everything that's in it, then I could basically do anything that I want as far as filmmaking goes. So first thing here, the brain of the operation, it's another X-T4. Incredible image, absolutely not the best tech that you could get today, but gets the job done. Mounted inside of the SmallRig cage with just a little cheap side handle thing, this thing. Side note, SmallRig is awesome because it comes with all of the tools and it's magnetically attached. What? Everybody should be doing that. Oh, you need an Allen wrench? Guess what? Handle. I seriously love SmallRig. Everything they do is incredible. Anyways, let's start building this up. All right, next we have this SmallRig mounting plate right here. Allows me to attach rails to this thing. Boom, already coming together. Next, let's just add these handles here. All right, and I have these, I think these are 12-inch rails. I'm actually not completely sure. These go in right here. Extended towards the back because that's how I'm going to mount my V-mount battery here. V-mount plate right here. Next thing, V-mount battery. By the way, the SmallRig 99 watt-hour battery is really, really nice. This is the upgraded version. It's good. So what's a camera without a lens? It's just a paperweight. The main lens that stays on here is the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. Old, but gold. This is probably one of the greatest lenses ever created, ever produced. Fuji, Sigma, somebody, please create an updated version that will natively mount onto the X-T4, X-T5, XH2S. Update this lens. And of course, since this is a Canon EF mount lens, we need an adapter running the Fringer EF to FX Pro 2 adapter. Not quite flawless, but it does work really, really well. It's all coming together. Don't ignore audio quality. I don't know how this is turning out, but for audio and making sure that I have XLR inputs into the camera, this is the Tascam CA-XLR 2D. This is specific for Fujifilm cameras. It mounts into the hot shoe, and that's basically it. It's ready to go. It transfers all of its data and gets all of its power through the hot shoe. This thing is amazing. Now, of course, that means we need a microphone, because there's no point in having XLR inputs if you don't have a microphone. And then just kind of mounted onto the side with a lot of these divider things is my shotgun mic right here. This is the Audio Technica 8035. It is an incredible shotgun microphone. The sound quality is great. It goes into the shock mount right here. Perfect. And then have a XLR cable here. And then I also have this tiny magic arm from SmallRig. This sounds like I'm sponsored. I'm not. I don't have any sponsors, but this magic arm is really, really incredible. You just loosen one thing, you position it however you want, and then once you have it positioned, you tighten it down, and then it just stays like that. And now I have a setup that could basically run all day. And so that's my camera setup. That's everything that I really need. Actually, I lied. Here is the quick release plate that goes into the into my tripod here. Now that's complete, and it just sits nice and flat like that. So that is actually not everything quite yet. This is my latest purchase right here. This is the SmallRig, what is it? The SmallRig RC60B. It's a 60 watt cob light. It is tiny. It is the perfect size to just dedicate one of those slots to right here. Fits perfectly, and it's battery powered, so it's perfectly portable. The mount for it is also in here. Thankfully, I didn't have to travel with light stands. My friends have light stands. And then finally, the very last thing in here, it is another lens. This is the 56mm f1.2. It's an 85mm equivalent. It is my absolute favorite portrait lens. In combination with the 18-35 1.8 and this, I could basically do anything that I need to. There's no shot that I can't get unless it's super, super telephoto. Is it kind of shameful to say that that's actually not yet everything? So I mentioned that this is the quick release plate for the tripod, but in order to use that, I need a tripod. Now, these didn't fit into the backpack or the box, but it did fit into the suitcase that I just checked. So this is just a cheap, newer fluid head. It's not actually a fluid head. It's just smooth, but it's not a true fluid head. This I screw onto this Manfrotto Be-Free Advanced tripod. The stock head, or the tripod head that comes with this tripod, I just took it off. It's more of a landscape tripod head, and instead I just screw this on this way, and then it just turns into a video tripod. Now, one of the things that we actually got together to do was test a bunch of headphones. It was one of the best experiences as a music person, as an audiophile. So my contribution to the listening party were these. These are the AKG K712 Pros, not the absolute highest end pair of headphones, but I really do like these. Very dry bass, and I don't know, you don't really find these everywhere, so my friend was very curious about these, so I also took these in my suitcase as well. And so that was everything that I took to Las Vegas. It was almost as if I took a miniature portable studio with me. Now the great thing here is that I used everything that I took, so none of it was a wasted effort to transport. Also, adding in this thought before I forget, why did I travel with two different cameras, that X-T4 and this X-T4? Well, that X-T4 is more for just casual running and gunning. I didn't want to tear this down every single time we went out to a place where I needed to be a little bit more conspicuous. Anyways, I hope that my ridiculous travel setup gave you some level of joy to watch, some sort of inspiration, some sort of idea of how to pack things, what to take. Hey guys, Future Ken just butting in here real quick. While I was editing the video, I realized how discouraging it could be to see all of this fancy gear. None of it is a necessity by any stretch of the imagination. They're just things that allow me to work faster and improve my workflow, but none of it is a necessity to start creating. If all I had was a camera body, lens, mic, and an ND filter, I'd still probably be able to do everything that I need to. Remember that it's always easy to obsess about gear, but the more important thing is to learn how to obsess about the craft. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I had a lot of fun making this video, and yeah, like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll see you next time. Peace.